What up, my people, and welcome back to the National Review, powered by Football University. I am your official voice of youth and high school sports, Chad Ricardo. It's FBU National Championship season. This is the path to Naples, and in fact, in less than a week, we'll all be down enjoying the Paradise Coast. This, of course, though, is not a vacation, rather a business trip. 8 teams remain. They all covet the same goal, and that is to be crowned the one true national champion. 4 big-time 6th grade matchups on the horizon. We'll take a look at each one. Let's begin, though, with a storied rivalry. These are 2 organizations with championship aspirations, 2 organizations with championship pedigree, and 2 organizations that know each other very well. Representing the Southeast, we're talking about GFL, and representing the Atlantic, this is Team Maryland. Coach Bird of Team Maryland going to be joining us momentarily, but first, my main man, Coach Chris Gant. Coach, thank you for joining the show. I want to get right down to it. Listen, to say that you all were impressive in your opening round is a bit of an understatement. You won your games, let me look at the notes here, 30-0 and then 28-0. That's pretty close to dominance, right?
We were just very blessed to have this opportunity. We put together just a wonderful group of guys. We didn't know how. We knew we had a good squad. We just didn't know how prepared we were going to be. Being the first game for us, but we got out there and we played well, played as a team, and just on both sides of the ball, just was very, very excited, very, very pleased with our performance.
I'd say so. I may not math well, but that's a combined score of, let's see here, 58-0. What that says to me is that you all balled out on both offense and defense. What student athletes would you say played their best games?
I tell you, our quarterbacks have really just bought into our scheme. We're kind of running 2 quarterbacks right now, Baxter Wright from Gainesville and Tyshawn White from the Atlanta area. Both of them have just accepted their roles and bought into what we're doing and played very well. Emmanuel Drake just really showed out at the fullback spot. We gave him several carries, especially Sunday, and boy, he really showed out. And just the receiving core, this is probably the best receiving core we've ever had. And I know Bryce Clavon had a big touchdown. Chandler Burden, KJ Bolden, just several good receivers.
So now the time is here. Next week this time we'll all be down in Naples. Your opponent, a familiar foe, Team Maryland. What are your opening thoughts on this major matchup?
Just from being on the 8th grade staff for the last 5 or 6 years, we always have to go through Maryland to make it. They just have such a great history. They have wonderful directors up there, wonderful coaches up there, and obviously their players are second to none. So you've got to play the best to win it, but you know, they're just going to be tough. They're going to be tough. Looking forward to the challenge and just looking forward to getting down there and seeing how our kids respond.
So, Coach, listen, again, thus far you all have looked darn near unbeatable. No disrespect to this Team Maryland squad, but does this team have what it takes to not only advance past this next round, but ultimately win an FBU National Championship?
I sure hope so. I love our team. I really do love our team, and I think with our experience on the 8th grade staff for the last 5 or 6 years, we've really tried to focus on building this 6th grade team like we do our 8th grade team. So very excited about them. They just have great intangibles. They're a family atmosphere, playing with a lot of passion for each other. So that's the first key. So I feel real good about them.
There we go. Coach, thank you very much, and good luck in your next game against Maryland.
Thank you, Chad.
That's what's up. Again, many thanks to Coach Chris Gant. That's my main man. Now on to the other side of the 50, head coach of the defending 8th grade champion Team Maryland, acting team director. This is my very dear friend, Coach Terrence Bird. Coach, of course we're going to be talking about your 8th graders a little later on. Right now, though, I want to focus on your 6th graders. Impressive weekend. You knocked off Virginia, and in what was anticipated to be a very tough matchup against Maryland Metro, they handled them pretty well also. What were your thoughts on the performance of your 6th graders?
You know, right now, they are playing really good football coming out of that championship football game, especially if you take from the second half on. They're loaded with talent, and they have one of the best coaching staffs in the area. That staff's been together for a long time, and they've won on many different levels. So I wouldn't bet against them.
Brother, you all have weapons all over the field. I mean, I'm talking about 2 quarterbacks. You got Nino and Carlos. You got 2 running backs in Cinque Blunt and then also in Jones. Dynamic student athletes everywhere.
Cinque, I think they're a really good 1-2 punch. I think Cinque is a hard-nosed downhill runner, really physical, tough to bring down, and Jones has that, long-term speed. We saw, that on display. One of his best runs got called back early on, which was about a good, 65-yard run. That's, not common at that 6th grade level. Generally, those guys run out of gas, so it was impressive to see him stride that run all the way out.
Like we said, brother, 2 tough matchups thus far, but in Naples, perennial powerhouse, familiar foe, GFL is awaiting.
Chad, I'll tell you that Georgia and Florida know each other very well throughout the course of this tournament. They produced some of the most competitive, football games in the history of the tournament. As a matter of fact, it was, Georgia versus Maryland about 3-4 years ago when Antoine Littleton was a 6th grader and Jordan Anderson and some of those guys, faced off. And, it was a classic matchup. I think it ended up being like 40-something to 30, like 41 to 35 or some crazy score like that, but just big play after big play. So, just historically, at all grade levels, the Georgia-Maryland battle just tends to always stand out.
Coach, you are a man that knows champions. As we alluded to before, you've already won at the 7th grade level. You've won a championship at the 8th grade level. Do your 6th grade babies, do they have what it takes to bring home a 6th grade crown to the state of Maryland as well?
Oh, I think they have, just as good a chance as anybody in the tournament. First and foremost, as I said earlier, the big key is they have the staff with experience. They have a staff that, coached in this tournament for 4 years at various levels. They've coached at the 6th, they've coached at the 7th, and have even assisted on the 8th grade. So they're very familiar with the tournament. They know how to get their team organized and set up. So got to start there with the coaching staff. And then, the offensive and defensive line, they're very stout in the trenches. And to me, that's always the key. The skill players, they're important, but Chad, if you got those guys in the trenches that can move some people around against their will, then you increase your chances of being able to be a national champion.
Absolutely. Coach Bird, I couldn't say it better myself. Thank you very much for stopping by the review. Good luck down there.
See you in Naples.
My man. Head coach of the 8th grade defending champions, Coach Terrence Bird, acting team director. Shout out to my main man, Mike Anderson. We wouldn't be here without you, bruh. KC, Massachusetts, another primetime matchup. One of them will move on while the other goes home. We'll speak to both next on the review.
Talent alone is not enough. Unlock your potential at Football University. Learn from our staff of NFL experienced coaches. Push your mental and physical abilities to their limits, both on the field and in the film room. Create your future. Visit footballuniversity.org. Football University. Technique plus talent beats talent alone.
FBU National Championship. We just spoke to Coach Gant and Coach Bird. Now though, time to speak to a couple of teams that they could see in the finals. Both Kansas City Metro and Massachusetts were absolutely dominant in their first 2 rounds. They'll meet up next week to find out who moves on and who goes home. Football is the ultimate team sport, and KC Metro is led by the ultimate teammates. I'm talking about husband and wife, Mike and Tina Landry. Guys, thank you very much for joining the review.
Thank you for having us, man. Excited to give you our take on our boys here, and looking forward to it.
2 crushing victories last weekend. I'm talking about 44-8 and then 34-0 in the game to decide who moved on to Naples. What'd you learn about your team last weekend?
They definitely have a great running game. Michael Burnett certainly carried the show over there. We got Jacob Haig playing linebacker, who has a nose for the ball. So just to watch those good kids get busy this weekend was awesome. Football
is, of course, a team sport. What other young men stood out?
Kaylin Smith, our DN, who his father actually is Neil Smith, brought consistent pressure the whole entire weekend for the defense.
Jax Fosno, he's a tall wide receiver. He's got great hands. He's a tough match for anybody to go up against.
Looking forward, and look, I got PJ waiting on the other line here. You got Massachusetts. What's it going to take for you all to knock them off and to move forward?
Well, it's going to take a total team effort here. I mean, all those teams down there are going to be tough. No matter who we got in that first draw, we're going to have our hands full. So we just clean up on what we do and making sure we're good at what we do.
Mike and Tina Landry, Team Kansas City Metro, wish you all nothing but success along your path to Naples. Joining the show now, they are going to be facing up against a stellar Massachusetts squad, a man that needs no introduction, my man, Mr. PJ Vanderride. Coach, I know that you are listening. We are going to get your opinions on this KC Metro squad in just a moment here. Want to focus on what your team has already done though. 6th grade, highly impressive. What were your takeaways from you all's victories?
Chad, I wasn't really sure what to expect because I'm too busy coaching the 7th grade, so I really haven't been able to watch their practices other than listening to their coaches tell me their team started to come together towards the end of the week last week. I didn't expect the results that came out Saturday and Sunday, but I was very proud of them, and they really put a really great team together, and it's all led by a great coaching staff.
22-0 and 24-0. You all are out there pitching shutouts on your path to Naples. Here on the National Review, bro, we're always looking for X factors. What student athletes really did their thing?
Well, Chad, it was definitely a team effort as it was in the 7th grade game. But, the 4 players that really stood out on this team is Anthony Smith, Amir Lindsay, Owen Howlett, and Marco Di Placidio. Both Amir and Marco are very familiar with the program. Both made the team as 5th graders last year. And Amir and Smith both ran for touchdowns, did great at running back. And Marco was outstanding at linebacker, so as was Owen Howlett. So, I feel those 4, along with the rest of the team, we have some great players. And surprisingly, I wasn't sure what to expect from the 6th grade team, because I was busy coaching the 7th grade myself. But after watching them play Saturday and Sunday, the coaching staff and these players coming together, it's anything can happen when we get down to Naples.
And as we alluded to, you have KC next. What I want to ask you, PJ, is what are the chances that you all not only get past KC, but does this team have what it takes to potentially win an FBU National Championship?
Well, I think, we've come together as a team. The strongest element of this team is definitely the coaching staff. We have some great high school coaches coaching, and the players have come together as a team. We're practicing indoors with the Boston College bubble. We're going to have about 6 practices under our belt before we get down to Naples, and I feel these boys are ready to go. And after watching them play last weekend, I think they have the tools to make it all the way down to the final game.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. Coach, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all safe travels and success down in Naples.
Hey, Chad, looking forward to seeing you down there. Thanks.
Coach PJ, we appreciate you, brother. Dallas, Florida, California, all coming up next. We just getting started.
1, 2, 3, FBU! I want to find out how good I am. Yes, sir! If you relax, you get blown out. Let's get it done! Let's get it done!
What can you take advantage of right now?
Again, come on. I can push myself way beyond what you think.
Pressure technique. Bring it back.
The game of football is often won and or lost in the trenches. No man knows that battle zone better than Orange County's team director, Mr. Freddie Ortega. Coach, Orange County is in the building. Look, I joked last week on Facebook that I wanted to come on out there to the west side. Even more so now. Your 6th graders, outstandingly impressive. What were your thoughts on their performance?
Well, you know, I mean, we're actually very excited. One of the things that we saw was LA Central 6th Grade, which was one of our main opponents. They were built for this tournament. You know, they had great size, great athleticism, and we actually matched up really well. And I think, you know, I think the extra ingredient to help us overcome that, you know, that team like that was the coaching as well. So, and obviously, we had great quarterback play from our quarterback Ryan Hansen, which was huge.
Big players make big plays in big moments. Coach, who else played big?
Yes, actually, the guys in the receiving end. We had one of our receivers, Travis Anderson, caught a great touchdown down the stretch. Then we had Madden Williams, another receiver that we had, was great. Had a couple of TDs as well. And one of the things that helped us on key downs was our tight end / also receiver, Jack Matranga, which, I mean, he's got great size. You know, you highlighted him as one of the key players prior to the tournament.
Correct.
And he did exactly what you said he would.
That is. Look, it always works out when we look smart at the on the other end, right?
Exactly.
So, we've had our fun. Now it's time to get it on. Moving forward down in Naples, your young men are going to be matched up with this stellar squad from Florida. What do you say to your young men to help prepare them for this moment? And do you believe that they have what it takes to advance further than this and potentially go all the way?
Well, you know, like I told them, I was like, you know, that team we faced was pretty much the caliber of size and athleticism that you'll face. And they overcame, you know, some of the adversities we faced through that game and came out on top. And I told them, I was like, we've done it before. We could do it again. At the end of the day, they don't know anything about us. We don't know anything about them. So, you know, at the end of the day, we just got to perform. And I think that, in fact, the mysterious part of it kind of is an advantage to us.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Coach, listen, I wish you all nothing but success down in Naples. Thank you very much for joining the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
As stated, the OC drew themselves a powerhouse from the state of Florida. Joining me now, winner of that very physical Tampa Southwest Florida game, Coach, thank you very much for joining the review. We'll get you started on this. First and foremost, what were your thoughts on your team's performance? How'd you get the W?
We got a lot of opportunities early, and we just got out too far. So, you know, they had some pretty good players on the Naples squad. But, you know, once, you know, we kept going. It was too much too fast, and, you know, nobody could really come back from that. We're fast. This is probably the fastest team collectively that we've seen. And my 6th grade coach, Duke Scott, that earlier to me the other day, that this is probably the fastest team he's ever coached. And we have some burners on that team. So it's going to be real special to watch these kids get out and open, because once they do, it's over.
Always looking for X factors. What student athletes, in your opinion, really had big games out there on the gridiron?
Yeah, well, this weekend, I mean, I don't think any back got the ball more than 5 or 6 carries. And Anthony Carey, tough runner in between the tackles, Stacy Gage, Rod Gainey, all special, fast kids. Every time I looked up, you know, there was another score, and it was a different kid. So I think it started off with Stacy, went over to Rod Gainey, and then Anthony Carey cleaned that one up, and then with some defensive help. But it's not all the running backs. That offensive line with Tyler Pruitt and LJ McCullough, those kids opened some holes, and you know, they just ran through it.
Finally, Coach, what's it going to take for you all to get past Coach Arteaga's OC squad?
Well, I mean, we still have to stick to what we're known for in Florida, and that's speed. So, you know, if we can get loose and get these kids on the edge and punish them in the middle, we're going to be pretty hard to stop. When I say it's all over, and it's not just one back, it's not two back. There's 3, 4, 5 guys out there that can do the same thing and make things happen with their legs. And then we ran 3 plays all weekend, 3 plays. So we haven't even gotten into the pass game yet. So they're not done yet. So this week we'll have a week's worth of practice this week to get ready for Orange County and clean up some things that we needed to clean up, and they're going to be special. And I see us going deep in this tournament. Man. So maybe an all Florida final.
All Florida final. Look, you heard it here first on the National Review. Coach, thank you very much for stopping by, and I wish you all well on your path to Naples.
All right, no doubt, man. Thank you.
Our final matchup is going to be absolutely spectacular, and I'll tell you why. It matches up Dallas versus the winner of the Dade and Central Florida matchup. This is something that Dallas knew heading into last weekend. This Dallas team, though, is potentially the front runner not only at the 6th grade level, but potentially at the 7th and the 8th grade level as well. I'll tell you why. Dallas absolutely steamrolled their region. As we look at the 6th grade team, they won their games by a score of 58-6 and then by a score of 40-0. This squad is absolutely scary. Here now representing that squad from Florida, a man that has never met a challenge that he backed down from. Coach, thank you very much for joining the review. Want to take a look at your squad's performance this past weekend? Of course, you were playing a game for all the marbles. Walk me through your team's victory.
That team is a very special team. You have some of the best 11U players, I believe, in the country, and they happen to all be located right there in Dade County. I mean, the defense is so fast and intense. Every day in practice, just the one-on-ones between the DBs and the receivers, it's like a spectacle. I mean, it's like you actually brought crowds out to the practice just to watch these guys compete at one-on-ones. So I know that it's going to translate great to the game day. And the O-line, they have one of the best O-line coaches you'll find anywhere in youth football. And the head coach, he's been around forever. Him and the OC, they've been working together for well over 10 years. Head coach Rob Black, offensive coordinator James Richardson. I mean, with those two, it's like a magic formula because they're so used to being with one another.
And stunning student athletes all across the field. Who really stood out in your opinion? What guys caught your eye?
Got to start with the quarterbacks. You have A.J. Smith of the Miami Gardens Chiefs, and you had Cedric Bailey of the Miami Gardens Ravens. You also have Chance Robinson of Chiefs. They have Dalen Russell. He's from Kendall Boys and Girls Club. That's a name to definitely remember in the future. You also have Davion Bullet Gaze. Man, he's a man amongst boys out there. And you have Big David Sturdivant. He's huge. He's huge up front. I mean, that guy there, when you look at him, he looks like a high school sophomore already.
As I alluded to, you've got Dallas next. This is a big-time squad. They've been extraordinarily impressive. Don't appear to have very many weaknesses. How do you all get by them? How do you advance in Naples?
I definitely feel like this 6th grade team has an opportunity to win it all. When they're put together, I'm looking at this team. Even when I look at this 11U and 12U teams in our area throughout the season, I'm saying these guys are kind of built like FBU teams. So I knew the transition would be very smooth once the coaching staff got their hands on these guys. I mean, like I said, these guys, they're some of the best coaches you're going to find at the youth level. Some of them have high school coaching experience as well. And they push the guys every single day. So I think that's what makes the transition so smooth when they come on the field on game day. And I really like our chances to win this entire thing. I feel like there's no reason that Dade County shouldn't win 6th grade every year, to be honest, in my opinion.
That is what's up. Look, you heard it here first. Coach, thank you so very much for stopping by the review, and I wish you nothing but success down in Naples.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
That's going to do it for this week's show. I want to thank you, and especially you for watching. I want to thank each and every one of our coaches for stopping by the review. And to all of our student athletes, we wish you health and success on the football field. To all of our parents, we wish you the opportunity to enjoy the moment. On behalf of everyone here at The Review, I am your official voice of youth and high school sports, Chad Ricardo. I'll see you in Naples. Happy birthday, Mom.